Let's start with Chief Meteorologist Ian Leonard with your weather on the 9s. Some nice, bright sunshine out there today.
Yes, it helps.
Yeah, it does. I've said this for years. Sunshine brings smiles no matter the temperature, and thankfully the temperature was slightly up. Yesterday we topped out at 59. Today, 65, a couple of degrees above average. Call it a beautiful bluebird day. Not overly warm, especially to the north. 51 in Hibbing and International Falls, 54 in Brainerd, 61 in St. Cloud, in the mid-60s from the cities, stretching all the way down to Owatonna and all the way along the Minnesota River Valley off toward Mankato. So a lovely day, but you're thinking to yourself, well, Ian, you were promising us a bit of a chill, and that chill really doesn't set in until after midnight tonight. If you walk outside right now and you look at the sky, you think, oh, so beautiful. There's not a cloud in the sky. That's a bit of a problem with a northwest flow and a clear sky. Temperatures will drop. And I'm telling you, as you look at the metro in the blue, but just to the north, everywhere in this magenta color from northern Minnesota into northern Wisconsin, that's a freeze warning. Yikes for the metro and areas along the Mississippi River Valley. It's a frost advisory. I can sum this up in one easy word. It's hyphenated a lot. Cover up your plants. Well, it's all one word.
If you say it fast enough, it becomes.
Here you got magnificent mums, tasty tomatoes, beautiful begonias. They all need some protection. We wake up tomorrow morning with some areas sub-freezing. But then we're back to near summer-like temperatures for the weekend, so obviously we got to talk. See you here in a few minutes.
Yeah, listen to Ian. All right, thank you. What is the future of the Republican Party in Minnesota, and why hasn't it won a statewide election in nearly 20 years? That was the topic of a forum this morning at the Star Tribune's North Star Summit at the Walker Arts Center. Fox 9's Rob Olson is live at the Walker, where this day-long event continues right now. So, Rob, this is the first of what could be an annual event for the Star Tribune, covering a range of topics about Minnesota's economy and politics. So give us some background on this.
Yeah, and I spoke to the CEO and publisher of the Star Tribune today, Steve Groves, who said that, yeah, the hope is that this is the inaugural of an annual event, this North Star Summit. He said, what's the purpose of this? He said, it's to really highlight some of the future, the minds here in Minnesota, get people together to talk about big issues. And in many ways, too, it is journalism as it happens by getting newsmakers together to discuss issues like AI, for example, or politics, the Republican Party, some other things. Governor Walz, along with Illinois Governor J.D. Pritzker, just wrapping up a discussion about state versus federal politics, too. So a wide range of topics here.
And Rob, as to the forum that you attended on the future of the Republican Party in Minnesota, the consensus of Republicans who spoke today say that what works nationally does not necessarily work in Minnesota. Is that accurate to say?
Yeah, and they pointed to the fact that it was former Governor Tim Pawlenty who last won a statewide race here as a Republican back in 2006, and he was one of the three on this panel here at the forum this morning, along with state senators, Republicans Julia Coleman and Zach Duckworth, who all talked about the need to win statewide elections is the need to appeal to the independents who really decide elections, that both Democrats and Republicans have solid bases. It's those in the middle that decide these statewide races, and they believe in recent years that the Republican candidates in Minnesota have potentially been a little bit too maybe narrow or too divisive, and say that they need to broaden the tent and be more welcoming and focus on bigger quality of life issues rather than more narrow hot button issues as we've seen of late.
And you spoke with former Governor Pawlenty afterwards, and you asked him what has changed since he won the governor's office in 2006. What did he have to say to that?
Well, he said simply the Republican Party is the party of MAGA now, that President Trump's politics have thoroughly taken over the Republican Party nationwide. And he said it's worked nationally, but not so much in Minnesota. He described it as having to be MAGA plus in Minnesota, that you can have those elements, but it needs to broaden out to, again, bigger issues that affect Minnesotans rather than some of the things that are just sort of in the MAGA tent. Here's a little bit of our conversation after the forum today.
Well, the Minnesota GOP, like the national GOP, has an identity. It's called MAGA. And again, it works in much of the rest of the country, and it works nationally for now, but it hasn't worked in Minnesota. So we have to be something additional or different if we're going to win here.
Do you think that message is heard by the GOP candidates out there?
No. We haven't won since I last won. And you would think if the party loses in statewide elections long enough, they would actually start valuing trying to nominate candidates who can win. But they're just not at that point for whatever reason.
And we'll start to see some of those Republican candidates in the near future here. And former Governor Pawlenty sees an opportunity that he sees Governor Walz running for an unprecedented third term, that there's some fatigue there. It may be a few percentage points, but he said that could create an opportunity with the right GOP candidate in the field.
Interesting opportunity today to get all of these people together talking about this and getting into this conversation. All right. Thank you, Rob, for that live report tonight. And in the last hour at the Star Tribune's North Star Summit, Governor Tim Walz and Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker taking to the stage to discuss state and federal leadership in the country right now. And of course, today's news that President Trump deployed Texas National Guard troops to Illinois was one of the first topics.
They have not picked up the phone and called me, not once. On Saturday, for the first time, I got a notice that Pete Hegseth was going to call me to let me know they're calling up the Illinois National Guard. And that is normally how it's done. They either call you or notify you some other way. But I was told he's going to call, and I thought, great, first time in literally a couple months now that I would have heard from somebody at the White House about their mission. So I was told they were going to call. I literally canceled everything that I had that afternoon to make sure that I was there with my phone, no interruptions, waiting for that call. He never called. And it turns out he was at a football game.
Fox 9's Mike Manzoni is covering this discussion for us right now. He'll have much more coming up tonight at 9 and 10.
A man originally from St. Peter, Minnesota, is now accused in the double murder of 2 Arizona teenagers. 31-year-old Thomas Brown is in custody in Maricopa County for the May killings on Mount Ord. Fox 9's Karen Scullin joining us now with more on this. Karen, a lot of new information coming in.
Right, this is kind of a wild tale. So back on May 26th, 2 teens had gone camping on Mount Ord. Well, so did 31-year-old Thomas Brown of Chandler, Arizona. And although Brown is now accused of the killings, investigators say the murders were random and that he acted alone. Pandora Julstrud and Evan Clark were found shot multiple times. Their bodies had been hidden in some nearby brush away from a campground on Mount Ord. The suspect, Thomas Brown, said he had been camping with his wife in the same area, but she left the day before the killings. What's strange is police say Brown had actually called in after the murders and offered drone footage that he had shot in the area. He told investigators he even encountered the pair. Well, months later, he was arrested for the crime. A retired FBI special agent says it's unusual homicide suspects get involved in the actual investigation.
So when it does happen, it's really interesting because you get into the mind of a killer. You see what's driving that individual, and you don't see it often. It's pretty rare.
Now, Brown is originally from St. Peter, Minnesota, graduating from St. Peter High School in 2012. He was a member of the Minnesota National Guard and moved to Arizona, where he was also in the Guard there. Brown had a 3D printing business where a check of the Instagram account shows there were numerous 3D printed guns. It is not known what kind of gun was used, though, in the attack. Simone?
Karen, all of it just really disturbing. And there is another connection that we have also learned about.
Yeah, right. It appears 31-year-old Thomas Brown is the son of current Gustavus Adolphus athletic director Tom Brown. Now, Fox 9 asked for comment, and the school said in response to your outreach on a personal family matter, we are respecting the family's privacy related to this situation. Prosecutors say Brown's DNA was found in the teen's SUV. His attorney says there's nothing directly linking him to the crime. He does remain, though, in the Maricopa County Jail. Simone?
Yeah, hopefully we'll hear more information. Of course, people have the question probably why this even happened. Right. So hopefully we'll get those details soon. Karen Scullin reporting in the newsroom tonight. Thank you, Karen. A former Northfield middle school teacher appearing in court today after she pleaded guilty to sending lewd photos to students.
According to the plea deal, Katie Hansen will not face jail time. Instead, Hansen will receive 5 years probation, a month of electronic home monitoring, and 300 hours of community service. Fox 9 spoke with a parent of one of the students. She says the families were not consulted about the conditions for this plea deal.
We're frustrated that there's lots of evidence of what she did, and it doesn't seem to matter at this point.
Well, as part of the deal, Hansen may have to testify against the former school resource officer accused of not investigating the matter after it was reported to him. The two were in an apparent relationship at the time. That officer is due in court next week. Sentencing for Katie Hansen is set for February the 3rd.
All right, let's talk about our weather right now. Another cooler day compared to what we have been seeing, but sounds like we might still break out the shorts at some point.
Yeah, we don't have to put them away just yet, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, not a lot of people ask me to break out the shorts, if I'm being honest.
Why not? I thought you had great legs.
No, I have lucky legs. Lucky when I'm running, they don't just snap off and run away on their own.
You're too hard on yourself.
They get little twigs. But I mean, at least it's important to know what your limitations are, and legs are definitely mine. So with your permission, I may wear shorts this weekend because it will be warm enough. In the near term, look, today we topped out at 65, mainly sunny, a gorgeous, if not bluebird, slightly above average day. Look at the colors on the map, and that's what I want to do. I want to get down so you can look at them, because people will always key on these colors. With the magenta, it is a freeze warning until 10 a.m. tomorrow. With the light blue, which includes most of the metro, it is a frost advisory. I will tell you this, to the north, we'll be looking for temperatures in the mid to upper 20s, so a decent hard frost. For the metro area south and along the Mississippi River Valley, it's a frost advisory. If you've got your favorite plants outside, you're going to need to cover them up and protect them. Otherwise, they won't do very well into our third set of summer forecast numbers, which happens as we head on into the weekend. I'm wearing shorts. You've all been warned, and we'll talk about that here with your long-range forecast coming up in about 10 minutes.
Thanks for the warning, Ian.
And you might want to send out a reminder for that warning, too. All right, as the government shutdown continues, the Better Business Bureau is putting out a warning about potential scams.
Straight ahead, what they are and how you can avoid them. And Israelis gather to commemorate 2 years since the Hamas attack on Israel. It comes as negotiations continue to halt the war in Gaza. We'll have the latest on those efforts coming up, but first, let's take a look at your drive times tonight.